about setting fundamentals, and this thing we'll talk about is setting posture and what to do with your feet before we talk about your hands. For setting posture, you want to have your feet shoulder width apart with your right foot in front, and you want to pretend that you're making a square with the heel of your left foot and the toe of your right foot. So if you were to mark the corners, that should make a square with your feet. Then you want to bend your knees slightly so you can be in an athletic stance. The reason why you want to have your right foot forward when you're setting is if the set happens to be tight, if here's the net and the set happens to be tight, if my right foot is facing forward, I will be turning and facing toward people to set if the pass is too tight. Whereas if I have my left foot forward and I happen to turn where my body's facing, which is my left foot forward, I'll be turning toward the opponent and risk setting the ball over. So that's why it's very important to start with your right foot forward. After you get your feet set and your body in a setting posture, then you want to keep your hands at your waist and you want to pre-shape the ball at your waist and move with your hands down. Common mistake that setters make is that they run to the ball with their hands up and they try to move and find the ball, and their arms are slowing them down and also throwing their accuracy. It's a lot faster and more efficient if you move to the ball with your hands down first, and then once you get your feet set, then you put your hands up. Now that we've talked about our setting posture and moving our feet to the ball first, we'll talk about what to do with our hands next. When I teach setting, I like to talk about pre-shaping the ball first with your hands. It's very important that when I'm getting ready in my setting position, that I try to touch my biceps with my thumbs and my index fingers. And you want to flex them back. And you want to have this wrinkle at your wrist. You don't want to set with your wrist straight. You want to have your wrist flexed back so they're ready to explode into the ball. Power comes from three places in your body. It comes from your legs, elbows, and your wrist. When you extend all three of those body parts, you will exert power into the ball. Now that you have your wrist flexed back, you also want to have your thumbs facing each other about 2 inches apart. In general, this is a triangular shape, and everyone's hands are different. If your hands are smaller, you probably want to have them wider apart. If your hands are bigger, you want your hands closer together. But it's very important to have the spacing between your hands to be very even. Now that we've pre-shaped the ball with our hands waiting at our waist, you want to receive the ball on your hairline. Now your hairline is where your hair starts above your forehead. And that's where generally the ball should be received, a couple inches away from your hairline. Once you receive the ball on your hairline, you're going to extend through the ball and you're going to make a shape from triangle into a square shape. And this is what it means to go from triangle to square. The triangle is your starting shape, and the square is your ending shape, and that's what makes a square. And make sure when you're setting, you're always setting through the ball, so your wrists should be straight. They should not be flexed out. They should not be turning. They should be setting through the ball. Now that we've covered setting posture and also what to do with your hands when you're about to set the ball, you want to make sure you can do the movement without the ball first before you move on to actually setting with the ball. Here's a good exercise you can practice without a ball. The 4 steps are open, square, 2 and 2, triangle, square. Open stance means waiting for the pass while facing your passers. If you square up too early, you will not be able to receive balls behind you, and you'll end up backpedaling and moving to the ball inefficiently. It's very important to face the baseline first so you know where the ball is going, and then you can move your feet to the ball. And once you get your feet to the ball, you'll perform a movement called squaring up. Squaring up means you're facing the outside hitter location with my feet, waist, shoulders, and my hands. The third step is 2 and 2, and 2 and 2 means my thumbs and my index fingers are 2 inches apart, and then by the time I put them on my hairline, it's 2 inches away from my hairline. That's a general guideline. It might be different for everyone, but that's a good starting point. Then triangle square is how you're going to be generating power and accuracy through the ball. You start with a triangular shape, and then you finish off with a square shape in your hands. This is what the exercise looks like on the net. notice that when I'm squaring up, I'm actually hopping into place while getting 2 and 2 at the same time. And you always want to be as efficient as possible. So once you get your feet to the pass, you're going to hop and get 2 and 2 all at once, and then you're going to set when the ball gets to you. Once again, it's a 4-step process. Open, square, 2 and 2, triangle, square. The next step is to perform this movement with the ball, and it's an exercise what I call slow setting. In general, when you're setting the 4 or the outside hitter set, you want to finish with your hands 45 degrees away from your hairline. If you're further away from the target, then you have to finish flatter to get the ball all the way to the target and generate more power into the ball. If I'm closer to the target where the ball is passed to the left, then I'm going to be setting more vertically and having less power because it takes less effort to get the ball to a closer distance. Another thing you want to notice too is that when I'm setting, I'm using my legs and I'm jumping into the ball. And even if you're jump setting, you are actually using a little bit of leg movement. So it's very important to transfer the power from your toes all the way through your body, extending through your elbows, into the wrists, and they'll flow into the ball. The third phase of this drill to practice setting is you can toss to yourself or you can have someone toss for you. So those are a few of the setting drills that I recommend to help build your fundamentals in